the. Thank you so much for all the support that you guys have put into this.
That's awesome. Good job, guys.
Woo! Worth it.
Love everyone. Thank you for all your
That's
support. We love you guys.
Wow.
It is finished.
8,000 miles.
Yeah, boy.
That's what it's like to walk across America and get to the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Super cold when we jumped in that ocean. I went into like shock.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of my dearest friends, great brother, and has just been there for me through a bunch of things. And I want to start this off by saying how much, I don't think I tell you enough, how much I genuinely care about you and how much I genuinely appreciate you for just the person that you are, Johnny.
Same for you, man. Seriously.
Well, this is Johnny Stoltzfus, everybody. And for those of you that don't know him, a couple of years ago, he got to do this really cool thing with his best friend, and he walked across America, the entire country.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're going to talk about that today. And what I wanted to start off with is I wanted to just kind of give a little memory shout out to Trevor Heinrich, the guy that you had walked across America with, who unfortunately had an untimely passing. But we'll get into that later. But
yeah,
what a great guy Trevor was.
No, he was amazing. Yeah,
this whole walk wouldn't even have been possible if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, kind of birthed the idea. Yep.
So why don't you kind of walk us through a little bit how this whole thing started, how the idea came up, and then what in the world made you jump on board and walk across America?
All right. Yep. Well, so me and my friend Trevor, we go way back. We were friends. We started being friends in like elementary school. That's when I first met him. And then throughout, like, probably into middle school is when I started really hanging out with him.
Yeah.
And getting to know him more, like, better as a friend. And then in high school we just started being like best friends.
Yeah.
And so we kind of, so going through all that, I mean, there's a whole story on like how
it came,
the idea got birthed, and like, you know, like my whole testimony with where everything began and started, which is, I don't know if I should go into detail about that, but because then that's like a whole other thing. But anyways, so basically, you know, we both were really passionate about the Lord in high school. We really would just always like be both like encouraging each other to follow the Lord and to really like pursue him with everything. And we're always just about like, we're always up for like the crazy things we've seen in the Bible. Like, you know, like you go on reading like Acts and everything, and just different ways God moves in the Bible. We're always about like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's go just pray for a random person and like see him get healed or whatever, or like see him get knocked out and like spaz out. No, but so we would just always challenge each other in these things. And that being said, we're completely open to like whatever the Lord put on our hearts to do. And so and if you guys don't know, I don't know if you guys know, just like the Christian faith in general, but I don't know. It's just like when you have a relationship with the Lord, He's not like just the God who's just up there, just not even taking any notice or taking any effort into like His creation or like any like interest in us. Like He's made Himself real to me and like to my friend Trevor, and yeah, he just spoke to us in like a real way for both of us for this idea. And so it was originally Trevor's idea to walk across the country. He was always like that kind of adventurous kind of hiking type. And me, I was just like kind of like the nerdy guy that just stayed inside and played Assassin's Creed for like 6 hours a day, every day. Or just on the weekends, because I was only allowed to play on the weekends, and I just played my butt off all day. But anyways, I wasn't like the person to go hiking at all. I was just like, I mean, I enjoyed it every now and then, but I just didn't see like the need for hiking or like the beauty of it. And so it wasn't even on my radar at all. But Trevor, like I think it was his junior year of high school, it's when he had this idea to like walk across the country. Yeah. And he was like telling everyone about it. He's like, oh, just asking different people to come. And of course, since I was his best friend, he asked me like all the time. I was like, yeah. I just said like the Christian way of saying no is like, yeah, I'll pray about it, when I just meant no, like you're crazy.
You
like
always know that
what's wrong
somebody
with
in
you?
the faith doesn't want to do something. They're like, yeah, but I'll pray about it.
Yeah. Just say no, all right? That's something you gotta learn, guys. Just say no when you actually mean no.
Well, you actually didn't start with him at the starting point originally.
Yeah. So anyways, he asked me to come along, and so I said that. Yeah. I mean, I said it, but I actually did pray for it. Like, I prayed about it. Yeah. But like everything in me was like, no, like just like I didn't seem anyway like I would do this, I didn't even see that in my plan at all, for my life. And anyway, so he took a year to get prepared and everything, and I think it was like a month before he actually it was the month that he left. No, a month before he left. I was just spending time with God, just reading my Bible, just praying, just thinking about Him, and then I just felt like this voice told me like, go with Trevor. And it was like immediately like this peace just fell on me. I was like, what? Like, what the heck? You shouldn't be feeling this way about traveling across the country, this is kind of an odd thing to feel like for something like that. I just felt like complete like peace and like just like, I don't know, knowing that everything would be all right. Like if I went with him, and I was like, what the heck? Like, all right, like this is weird. Like, no, I'm not going to go because it's just crazy. But I just kept getting this like sense of peace, like crazy amount of peace, like probably more than I've ever felt in my life about something. And so kind of like after I had this time, like my mom came home, she walked in the door, and I was just like, for some reason I told her right away, I was like, Mom, like she knew Trevor a lot too. She was like, he was like her second son, basically. He would come over all the time, just walk in or whatever. And so she knew that he was planning on doing this. Yeah. I mean, he also told everyone. Whenever he got really excited, he would just tell people whatever.
I remember back in youth group, he'd come by, and I hadn't talked to him in a while after I got out of school, and I'm just like, yeah, man. So what's your plans for like summer, everything like that?
Oh
And
yeah,
he's
he
like,
told you too, right?
Yeah, and he's like, I'm doing all this research on backpacks or like just like the most
Yeah.
random things. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, what are you doing? And he's like, I feel like God's calling me to walk across the country.
Yep,
And I'm
there
like,
you go.
I didn't really think anything of it. I'm just like, okay, that's cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, that's awesome. And then not even a year and a half later, he was doing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think people took him seriously, honestly, a lot of the time, because he would be a big dreamer and he would just like say things sometimes, but he actually like went for it this time, which is really cool. Anyways, where was I?
You heard a voice tell you that you should go with Trevor.
Yes.
Now, I want to get into that though because,
Yes.
again, you didn't originally go with him then. He started before you went.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
It's kind of like a complicated story, kind of. So
Yeah.
So this happened a month before he left, and so anyway, so I told my mom and everything, and so I'm trying to figure out what to explain here. Like I said, it's kind of complicated. Anyways, I'll just keep going on with this. But so she was like, I don't know if anyone knows me, I was born with a prosthetic leg. So that was also a big...
You weren't born with a
Should I
prosthetic
show
leg.
it?
I mean, you don't have to, but you can.
Here it is.
There it is.
Look at her.
But he wasn't born with it. He
Old
didn't.
faithful.
His mom didn't give birth to him with the prosthetic leg.
She did.
She did.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, but that's the crazy
Not really.
part
Just
to me is like that. Not only did you walk across America, you did it with a prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that was like, I don't even know about that because
Yeah.
like I have a prosthetic. Like how the heck is this gonna work out?
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm sure your mom right away. Was
And
just
right away she's like,
absolutely no.
no, do you not know what's going on with your leg there? You know, it's like, you don't have a full leg. And
Shout out, Lily, we love you.
and so, and she's she's of the Spanish descent. So if anyone knows how Spanish moms are, they're very protective of their children, very, very, to a certain extent, sometimes controlling, And so, coming from that background, she was going to be like, no, like, you're not going to go,
Yeah.
at all. And so I was like, yeah, you're right. I was just like, like just taking it. I was like, yeah, you're right, Mom. Like, I'm crazy, all right? What am I thinking? I'm just going to go play my video games.
I'm just going to go play Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. I should have just played it. Just kidding. No, but so anyways, so like I was like, yeah, you're right or whatever. And then so I ended up going to Trevor's grandparents' house within that month, and we just went there just to get away and stuff. And a couple of my other friends were there.
Yeah.
And then one of the nights we just were having a bonfire, and then we were just like kind of encouraging each other in the Lord and stuff and just praying and whatnot. And one of my friends, Gordon Heinrich, I don't know if you know, it's Trevor's brother.
Yeah, Gordon, yeah.
He basically, he told me, he's like, he had a word for me, and he just said, don't worry about your leg, just go. Like, he felt like the Lord was saying that. I was like,
I said it before.
what the heck?
Those,
and I didn't even
Heinrichs.
tell him anything.
Yeah.
Anything about it. And I was like, what? Like, all right, well, that was weird, and I was still like, I talked to Trevor about it. He's like, no, I think that's like a clear sign for you to go. It's like, yeah, you're right. And so I ended up coming home. It was like a few day trip. And then my mom actually came up to me, and she said she was praying about it, and she felt like God telling her that it's okay for me to go. Like, and she had peace about it. I was like, if you know my mom, that's like unreal. Like,
Yeah.
that is not her at all.
Yeah.
So I knew definitely this was not something that was like anything that could like come from like just like a human desire or whatever, because like, yeah, it was just totally not my mom. And for her just to trust that it will be fine. But she did try a few things to like try to discourage me. She was like, well, if you're going to go, like, go to the dentist, make sure you're in good health, and secretly, like, go to your prosthetic doctor to see if you can do it. I was like, all right, whatever, I'll do that, just to give her peace of mind. But, secretly, like, she was like hoping that they would discourage me or whatever and tell me not to go. But
and she told you this? That she was
later
on.
Like, she was like, oh, I'll just go and check and stuff. But she told me later that she was like,
okay.
yeah, I just wanted you not to go and just wanted them to tell you no.
Yeah.
And so I went to my prosthetic doctor. He makes my legs. Anyways, sorry.
I mean, it's just a funny thing to say. Anyway, go ahead.
I know. I'm the only person that could say that.
Yeah. I have this doctor. What's he do? It makes my legs.
And so I went there, and he was like, I told him what I was gonna do and stuff, and he was like, "That's awesome, man! Like, go for it." And my mom was like, "Dang it,
you weren't supposed to say that."
And then I went to the dentist, and then they're like, "Whoa, that's so cool, man! Like,
here's
a toothbrush, here's some toothpaste, here's some like." Gave me loaded me up with all this stuff
travel
for my
pack.
mouth. And I was like, sweet. And then I went to my doctor, and he was like, yeah, go for it. I was like, and like my mom was like, well, will he be okay? The way he walks, the way I walk is like, like I kind of have like a unsteady way of walking, if you know me. And so it's like, like I bend back and forth, and she's like, something, like, will that do anything to his back or whatever? And he was like, no, just go for it. He's just like all for it. And so, yeah. So then I started I went to like a camping store, like a hiking store. And like everything was on sale when I went there. Jeez. Like Trevor got things for like twice as much as what I got him for.
Huh.
And so it was just like, this was all within a month.
Yeah.
And so, so then that's where your question was. Like, Trevor actually started. I felt like this. Like a month before he left, and so he left for like a month.
Yeah,
and started in Huntington. No, that's where we ended up. He started in Ocean Grove, New Jersey.
Okay,
and then he walked to where I preside now, in Lancaster County. And then, so I joined him then.
Who did he start with again, Phil?
He started with Phil Freeland.
Yeah.
If anyone knows him. So, he's a super cool dude.
Yeah.
Too, so.
Really good guy. Really good guy.
Yeah.
So, when he got to you and you decided that you were going to go, what was, like, even though you had all this confirmation from God, even though you had all of this, like, I'm doing this, the second that you walked out that door ready to walk, what is going through your mind?
Good question. See, it's been a long time now. It's been like, I still remember the time, but I don't quite remember what I was feeling. It was back in, so this all happened. Trevor started October 2013 when we were 19 years old. Yeah. And
because this started over a 3-year period, right? Or this happened over a 3-year period.
This is the beginning of the 3-year period.
Yeah. The whole walk trip took the 3. Yeah.
And so he started beginning of October, and then I started a month later, like in November. Okay. I think it was like November 13th or something. I don't know, something like that. And so we met up at Trevor's house to get all our gear ready. We gathered all our gear, and we like stayed all night, like figuring out stuff, like what to take and what not.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of junk that we actually didn't need. Like, you realize over time when things get really heavy and you're walking forever that you need to get rid of stuff. That's like every hiker's rule.
It's
like,
gotta be
they
like
just realize it like as they're going on, like, I don't need this.
It's got to be like the ultimate workout.
Yeah, dude, I have no idea how we did it, but anyways. So we did that night. We did that. Trying to think of like what I was thinking. I was just like, this is really surreal. Like, I'm actually going to be doing this. Like, am I actually going to be doing this? Like,
Yeah.
what am I thinking? Like, I don't know. Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I don't know. And also you're pretty excited too, because you're like, I'm going to do this. And like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, this is going to be cool, Like,
Yeah.
what's going to, what exciting things are going to happen
Yeah.
on this crazy adventure. And so, I don't know. It's a thing that was really cool, though, like when we left that morning, which we just walked down to my house, which like Trevor's my next door neighbor, and we have breakfast there. But like that was our first stop of the trip. And so like it was really cool because there's like this rainbow that was like in the horizon, like when we started walking. And it just reminded me of like the promise God had over it. And like, if anyone has like a biblical background or whatever, that the rainbow is God's promise to not destroy the earth through a flood anymore. Yeah. And I don't know, it's just I connected that to his promise that he was going to be with us throughout the time. Yeah. Like when we travel. And so that was just really reassuring. And I was like, wow, like this is it. Like this is what like God wants me to do. Like I had like no question in mind after that moment. And so that's when we started.
What was it like mapping out where you were going to go? Because obviously you're going in a straight line to a destination point. So why did you pick Huntington Beach as the ending point, and how along the line did like Trevor and you map out where you guys were going?
Yeah, good question. I'm not quite sure why we chose Huntington. It was just at the end of the United States, I guess, the Pacific Ocean. I don't know. But I know that we chose certain destinations that we've been wanting to go to for a while. Or Trevor already picked ahead of time because he was planning like a year ahead. Yeah. And so he chose like cities like Nashville, like he's always wanted to go there because he was a musician. He loved playing his guitar and stuff. And so he wanted to go check that out. And we kind of went off path from what we originally wanted to do. We wanted to go through Colorado and stuff, but thing is, when you leave in like November, it's not really a good idea to be up north. Yeah. And so we started heading down south. And so we ended up like going down through Maryland, Virginia, Tennessee. It kind of like was that whatever, like I know Nashville was the main one, so we were just kind of like whatever gets us to Nashville. Yeah. Like going on a southern route, then like that's what we'll do. And so like before, like every night we would see what's ahead. Like Trevor would do that most of the time. He would be in charge of like figuring out where we're going and stuff. And so he would like choose like a town that was like 10 to 15 miles away that we could reach within a day. And so or just find like a spot if there was no town, just like some kind of spot, or just check out the area like on Google Maps. Okay. And so that's our main thing that we use. We would just use Google Maps, just walking just type in walking directions. Like that's all we did. And it was pretty accurate. It would tell us what time we would get there and stuff. And so we would just do it that way. And then whatever happened along the way was just like whatever the Lord had in store for us during the day, like whoever we would meet, things like that. And so, yeah.
Now, were you taking any main routes, like highways, or any like?
We would
through forests or anything.
We would
Bear Grill style.
No, it actually was a lot of roads. We would take a lot of roads, like back roads. We could take like kind of like old highways. Like Route 30, you could take Route 30. We could walk on that. It was just interstates we couldn't take, pretty much, and so that was illegal. Yeah. And so, so out west it got a lot more sketchy with that. But yeah, that's what we would
just flat
because it was just it was just interstate.
Okay.
For most of the time out west, and so we would have to like make a trail for ourselves through like the foliage or whatever, or like shrubbery. So, like it was kind of painful because
so when you were walking down across the whole country and encountering people, what were you getting people asking you questions? Did they think you were just two homeless guys
that's the really cool thing about it was we kind of went with the goal of like our whole thing was like we called ourselves a church of us, which is like we believe like the church is like, if you read the Bible and stuff, it's not a building, it's the people, you know, that make up wherever you're at, you know, like it's not like a structure or anything, you know, like each person is the building, you know. And so we called ourselves a church of us, and our whole goal was, we didn't really know what exactly our vision was. We just wanted to be available to whoever we came across. Yeah. And to be able to minister and share like the gospel with people along the way, or like pray for people, you know. And what was really cool was that we would even, most of the time, we wouldn't even have to go walk up to people. People would just come and ask us like what we were doing and like why we were doing it. So we would just tell them, and then that would lead into like actually like praying for the person, or like speaking encouragement to them, or just like inspiring them, you know, to step out and like adventure or whatever, or like whatever the Lord's telling them, or you know, just to like, even like for homeless people, that was probably my favorite times. Is like we were able, like nowadays, like you see like homeless people like feeling like inferior to like people, you know, who are coming out to them, like not all the time, but you know, like that's why you have to build relationships and stuff. But usually, like, you know, like they feel like you're looking down on them because you have like a house and everything, you know, you have all these things, you know. But like when we were hiking, like they would like let down all their walls and just like we're able to just like talk to them, like like, and they were able to be more honest with us, I feel like, and there was like no judgment or anything, like, you know, they felt like more comfortable. Yeah. And so that was like a really cool thing, and we were able to like be able to like encourage them more like in that way, you know. And like most of the time they would just be like, hey, you got any weed? Especially in the cities and stuff, and we're like, nope. And we're just like, they're like, what are you guys doing? We just talk to them, and like,
well, by those looks, I mean, you guys do look like a couple stoners, so I wouldn't
yeah, Trevor got some dreads there, and yeah, just look at me, my eyes are shut.
He's high as
anything. They smoking right there.
That's so cool though. So when you're walking places that you have no idea where you're at, I mean, you know, it's you map this out, but like you don't know if you're going to be safe. You don't know the type of people that you're going to encounter and everything. Like, you really have to trust in the Lord, like you're doing, like, or you know, like full on when you're doing this. So where, like, were there times where you're like, man, this is a mistake, or I'm scared, or like there was some sketchy moments or anything?
Oh yeah, there's lots of them. Yeah, there's this time, times that come to mind is, I think we were in Arkansas, and we were camping out in Arkansas, like in the rice fields of Arkansas or whatever, and super flat, kind of like Tornado Alley-ish. Yeah. Ish. And so, it's basically no one around us or anything, you know. And so we were just camping out one night, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw these flashes of lights outside of our tent. So I was like, what the heck? So I like look outside, and there's this giant, massive, huge, ominous like storm cloud coming our direction. Oof, like huge. I was like, oh my gosh. And so like I woke up Trevor, he's like, what? He's like always got mad at me whenever woken up. I was like, you should look outside. And he's like, what? Why? And then he was like, just look outside. And he looked outside. He's like, oh crap. I was like, what do we do? And he's like, I don't really know. We can't really go anywhere. I was like, yeah. So I guess we'll just wait here. And so we like bunkered down and just like we're in our tents, like screaming our heads off while this like crazy lightning storm is like going on like, all around us. And like I was like literally like I thought I was gonna die. Like, I was like all like bundled up in my sleeping bag. I was like, Lord, I'm ready to go. And I was like, and like my like the wind was like caving in our tents, like it was like really bad. And like like water was splashing up in our tents and everything. And eventually, like, it was like a good like 10 to 15 minutes of this.
Yeah.
And then like it just stopped. And I was like, Trevor, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, are you okay? He's like, yeah. Just like, what the heck just happened? And like, I don't know. It was just crazy things like that. Like, I almost got bitten by a rattlesnake, like a baby rattlesnake. And they're like more potent because they can't even control the venom. Like,
Yeah.
I was walking and I didn't see it on the side of the road. It like leaped out at me.
Yeah.
And like it just missed me by like probably like an inch or two, honestly. I was like, holy crap, you know, like that happened.
What's the weirdest place you guys stay the night in or at?
Oh my gosh, so many weird places.
What's the one that stands out to you the most?
Oh man, all of them. Well, there's this one. Okay, there's this one place in Culpeper, Virginia. This was a place we stayed at. Really weird night, actually. This is really weird. But so we felt like we didn't have a lot of money sometimes. Like, yeah, most of the time we didn't have a lot of money. So we were walking around and we just felt like we should stay at this one place. You know, it was kind of more expensive. Like, it was a hotel place. And so we're like, why the heck would we go here? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, but we just we prayed about it and we felt like we should stay there. And so we paid like a good amount of money to stay there. And it was really nice and everything. It was like really awesome, like nice place. And, I remember we were just hanging out in there, and then I just felt like I should go outside. Like, I was just spending time with God.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we were praying, and I was like, I feel like we should go outside. So we just went outside. Like, there was a little like area like that you could go out on, and we were like in a small town, so like there was buildings everywhere. And so we just went out there, just waiting there or whatever, and like we just see these people going into like this tin building. Like, we're like, what the heck? What's going on? We're like, what is going on over there? Like a few feet, like probably like 20 feet away from us. Like, they were just going in this building. And they were like, oh, hey guys, like, what are you like do you guys want to come in? Like, we're having church here. We're like, what the heck? I was like, and this is really sketch, like, why in a tin building or whatever? Like, well, just come on in. And so we went in. It was a Spanish-speaking church.
Huh.
And so we didn't know a lick of what they were saying, but we were sitting there for a while. They were doing worship in, like, Spanish and stuff. And then they had, like, a translator come up, and the pastor was like, it's like, this is crazy. Like, someone had a vision about, like people, like, English people, speaking people coming to our church, and, like this is the first time it's happened like ever. And so like we like fulfilled like a prophecy or something. I don't know, or whatever. And so they're like, this is crazy, you know, like, you know. And then like it was just really cool. It was just like, what the heck? That was like a weird moment. And then they gave us like all this food to take with us, for our trip, because we told them what we were doing and stuff. They gave us like all these baskets, and so we were good for like a few days after that, like with food. Yeah. And so like, I don't know, it was just like a weird moment like that. I don't know if that answered your question about a sketchy place, but it was a sketchy tin building.
Really like sketching, I guess. I mean, it's a weird moment,
but like, yeah, it was just like weird moments like that. You're like, what the heck? And then oh wait, I know where I was going with this. So then the next day, we like went down a little further, and we like, it was pouring rain like crazy. Yeah. And like we didn't know where to stay, because like putting up a tent and stuff, like, you'll soak your stuff and whatnot. And so there's just this dingy like motel or whatever, and we're like, okay, I guess we're gonna go in there, you know, just to keep dry and stuff. And so like we asked like what it was to pay for a night, and it was like pretty cheap, but it was like there's like lightning outside and everything, and it was just like really bad. And so we went in there, and like first off, like this lady was like kind of creepy looking. She was like had one eye was like going towards her nose or something, and she like had a smashed up like forehead or whatever. She's like, "Welcome to the Culpeper Hotel" or whatever, and we're like, okay. And it's like this thunder going on outside, and like these weird like knight armor like mannequins places, and we're like, I don't really know where else to go, you know. So and then so
Did you go to Hogwarts by accident?
we paid for this place. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, this place is haunted, by the way." We're like, "What?"
Oh, nice.
Like after we pay, like, why don't you tell us before we pay for this?
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, sometimes the lights just shut off randomly. I go outside screaming, like I just run out of the place screaming." We're like, "Okay, thanks for letting us know." And so we went to our room, and we went in the room, and like the fan was like moving, like really weird, like, and like there was just like it was just like weird.
Yeah.
And like the lights weren't working like when we went inside.
Yeah.
And so like eventually they started working, and then like the bed had no sheets on it.
Oh.
It was like stained with like blood and stuff or whatever. It looked like blood. I don't know what it was. And like the nightstand next to it had like its leg chopped off, and it was just on its side. And so we were just, Lord, just help us out. We were like praying like over it and stuff. Like,
I would have ran right out the second I saw it.
We just felt like we should be there, I guess. So we
Yeah.
were just like, whatever. And so we just put a tarp on the bed, and we all three slept in this like queen size bed. Like it was actually really good sleep. And so like, I don't know, like one of those places we stayed at, and like that was like super sketchy. And like as soon as we got up in the morning, we just left. Like, so there was that. There was like we slept at a homeless shelter. A guy threatened to kill me at one point, like at the homeless shelter. I was like, "Oh, sorry." Like it was like, "Yeah, I murdered people before," because I was talking to this one guy. He was helping him with his cell phone or whatever.
Yeah.
And this was in Texas. Like it was a place called Tent City, and we felt like we should stay there just to like talk to the homeless and stuff. And just this huge tent set up. And so I was just talking to this guy, and he was like, "Yeah, like if you don't stop talking to this guy, like I'm gonna murder you. Like, you know, I've murdered people before." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
It's like, "Sorry." And then like I backed off, and then eventually I saw him again later, and he was like totally fine with me. I was like, "Okay."
What brought that on? Was he? It might have been schizophrenic.
I don't know what. It's like just random people. I don't know. He was homeless, you know, like whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He was mad at me for talking to this one guy for while he was fixing his cell phone or whatever.
Huh.
And then I met another guy there that like had like he wore like Jesus clothes, and like he just walked around all the time, and like he had sandals and like grew his beard out.
Yeah.
And, like he just basically looked like Jesus. He just wore like this one cloth thing, you know, like a linen cloth. I don't know, whatever Jesus would wear. I don't know if that's what he wore, but whatever.
Yeah.
He just wore sandals, and then he like anointed my feet that night, and like just random scenarios like that. You're like, what the heck is going on right now? What am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, it just became like a lifestyle. Like you wouldn't think twice about it. Like after like a while, like at first it was like super difficult to be like away from home, being from like a comfy bed and everything, and like dude, like the first like week or two, like I was like, I hate this. What am I doing right now? I was like in so much pain and whatever. And like eventually you just are like get used to it, and you're just like, well, you know, like you don't even think twice about like where you're going like the next day.
The majority
it's
of the
just
time,
a life, you know, like a lifestyle. So
yeah, the majority of the time you were sleeping outside, right?
it was like actually it was about 50-50.
50. Okay.
Like we would have like just you'd go to a church or whatever, and like a family would take us in for a night.
Nice.
It was like really awesome. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do if these two like random hobos came. But you know, they trusted us, and like when they had kids sometimes, they would just let us stay in their spare room or whatever, and like we got like really cool connections with that. Like some awesome relationships. Then some of them like treated us like family. Like they would, like if we were stuck somewhere, they'd come all the way out. Like this one church family, like we stayed with them for like a few days, and then This was in New Mexico, Arizona. New Mexico or Arizona? Why did I say that? That didn't make any sense. 2 states in one.
Arizona has now become New Mexico.
They fused. But it was like a Calvary Chapel church. Like we just really cool story how we came across them. You know, it was funny. But anyway, so we just met this family.
Yeah.
And we stayed with them a few days, and then we left. And then so this was right before Albuquerque, New Mexico. So we went through that city, and then after that, it's just nothing. That was like the drop off right there, like to the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing for miles. And so this is around like Easter time. So like when Easter was coming up, like we were out like in the desert.
Yeah.
And they like texted us. They're like, "Hey, what are you guys doing for Easter?" And we were like probably like an hour or 2 away. And we're like, "Oh, we don't know. We're kind of like out here in the middle of nowhere or whatever. Like, we don't really know what we're going to do." And they're like, "Well, we'll come get you, you know?"
Yeah.
And the pastor came and drove out there like 2 hours out of the way and picked us up and brought us back for Easter. And like we celebrated Easter with them like a few days. And like it was awesome. Like, you know, like it was so cool. And we went on like a little outreach with them, like in the city, and like talk to people, like got to like talk to a lot of different people. And like, I don't know, it was just super cool. Like we would have people like that. And then like down the road, like they would know someone and they would connect us with them.
Yeah.
And then we would stay there. Like it was just kind of like a chain reaction, like kind of thing. Like,
wow.
Once a person knew about
That's
us.
so cool.
So,
I think that just shows how much like relationships matter in the body.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're not just helping some random person. Like you're helping somebody like that is your brother, that is your sister.
It definitely gave me like a better aspect of the United States. Like not everything is going to like hell here, you know, like there's a lot of good people out there that like even non-Christians, they would take us in, you know, like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was that like?
So, it was, I don't know, cool. We would just talk to them. Like, I'm trying to think of like a specific story, but like, I don't know, like this one lady, we were like walking near McDonald's or whatever in like Nashville or whatever. And we were leaving and she was like, she came up to us and she's like, "Yeah, you guys want to stay at my place? Like, you know, like you guys seem to have really good vibes, like whatever." And so she took us in and we like slept on the couches like there and we watched like Wolverine or whatever. I don't know. We would just like be casual about it. We wouldn't like force anything on them. We would just talk to them about like where they're at. It would never be like something we would make it a goal just to talk to someone about like Jesus or whatever. We would just, if it came up in conversation, it would happen. Or sometimes it was just simple. We were just asked to pray for them. And most of the time people were willing to like, for you to pray for them. Like a lot of people didn't like 95% of the time, like people didn't turn it down.
Was there ever anybody that you came across that like was a non-believer that wanted to know more or got saved?
Yep. We probably about 20 people came to know the Lord through
20 people.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, about 20 people.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
You never told me that.
Yeah. We kind of, we stopped counting after that because we didn't want to make it like that. So, I don't even know who else did, but it was about that range, like 20 to 30 probably.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure totally, but yeah. So like there were times where like people would actually have an encounter with God, like through prayer or like just talking to them about Jesus and like telling them like, "Hey, would you want Jesus to be your Lord and Savior like in your life?" And like times like that, like we like one time it happened to like this homeless guy. We were like chilling on a bench in Nashville. We had no place to stay, and there's just this homeless guy there. And we were talking to him for like an hour or two, and he accepted the Lord. And like right away, like he totally changed. He like started smiling, like he was like so happy. Like after it happened, he looked so depressed after that, and like it was immediate. And so it was just like stuff like that would happen, like, you know, like crazy things like that. And so I don't know. We weren't looking for it. It just happened like wherever we went. It wasn't even like we had like a plan about it.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know we were gonna stay. Like we had no idea what was going on, and just this encounter happened. Like that's how it was. Like
Now,
the whole time.
You guys didn't walk straight through. You'd come home.
Yeah. So
at certain points.
we came back like it's probably about like half a year. Like the total maybe it was like about a year of coming back.
Yeah. Back
and forth. Like we would come back to maybe get some extra money. Most of the time, the one time we came back was because Trevor had like a wart on his foot, like on the bottom of his foot.
Oof.
And it felt like it was stabbing him every time he would walk.
Oof.
And then just the one day we were like at a place and we were like, he was like in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And I could tell he was in a lot of pain because he was limping.
Yeah.
And he just wouldn't like sometimes like be like, he would just kind of shake it off a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so like the one time we're like, all right, well, we were getting ready to go, and like I was like, all right, Trevor, are you ready? And then he just started breaking down crying. I was like, what the heck? He's like, it's like, dude, it's just so painful. I can't go on. I was like, all right, we're going home.
Yeah.
So he just flew back.
Yeah.
He got that taken care of. It was like 3 of them on his foot.
Oof.
It was pretty nasty.
Oh.
Yeah. And I eventually got it too, but
Oh,
I was
geez.
able to like put stuff on it, and then
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting actually. Warts are kind of weird, but kind of fascinating.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
That's
I
weird.
put like Dr. Scholl's like stuff on it,
Yeah.
like this patch on it, and
Yeah.
then I tore it off, and the whole wart came
Just
out.
came off.
Yeah.
It's weird how they work. I've seen people tear
Really
them off.
gross, but really cool at the same time. I don't know. It's like this weird sensation you get.
I've also seen people pop them, and it's just I don't know.
I don't know if we should be talking about
That's
this.
just- nah, we
It's
can't.
probably
It's
disgusting.
what it is.
But anyways,
Yeah.
welcome to the podcast.
Welcome
We're
to the
talking about
podcast.
warts and
Welcome
peeling
to-
them off.
This isn't even close to the conversations that Johnny and I had. Actually, before we get back into the story, we just got back from Erie, and the whole entire car ride up there, we're just talking.
I don't know what that.
nonsense. I don't even know what we were talking.
I can't even
about.
tell you what we're
I
talking.
can't even tell you what we said. Erie was interesting. I enjoyed Erie.
Yeah, that was fun.
I had a lot of fun up
That
there.
was super
it was really
awesome,
cool. And we
honestly.
got to meet a really cool guy. And we stayed in an Airbnb, and we got to meet this. He wasn't the host, but he was the parents of the host, and that's connected to their home.
Yeah, super cool.
And
Connection.
He brought us into his car garage because we're like, are we still? Because when we got there, we're like, are we staying in a car garage, or what's going on? But it was actually an old automobile garage back from like the 20s.
Yeah.
That his dad had.
Yeah.
And he was showing us all his cool
He was
memorabilia.
like so excited about it.
Yeah, he had a 1959 Ford in there that he used to deliver
Yeah.
parts for. He goes, he's like, you guys know Amazon? How they say deliver in 3 days? We were the original Amazon,
Yeah.
and they would deliver these parts in the Depression in this 59 Ford.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah. What
And
was
then
his
he gave
name?
us like free wine and stuff.
Yeah, he gave us free wine. They have a vineyard up there.
Yeah.
No lie, everybody. Like, go up to Erie and New York area.
Uh-huh.
You drive there, and I'm not exaggerating. Every other quarter mile, not even, it's just vineyards everywhere.
Yeah.
It was.
That's
just-
all it is.
It was so cool.
The whole city is just buildings of vineyards.
I like that brewery that we went to the first time.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a really good,
That was
really
a
good
good one.
place. What was his name? I can't remember his name now.
Leonard.
No, it wasn't.
No,
Leonard.
it wasn't Leonard. I don't know.
Bartholomew.
Probably-
We
the
prayed
names
for
are
them.
the most uncommon names ever. That's what it
Most
was.
uncommon names ever. We prayed for them. too.
Barnabas.
They were a really good couple though. I enjoyed the little talk. That we
Yeah,
had.
no, it was really cool, and they're so friendly. And
Yeah.
everything.
And the lake.
Really cool little cottage place that we stayed at too.
If you ever, if anybody listening ever gets a chance to go to Lake Erie, I highly suggest it.
Yes.
We're driving up there, and we thought that we were looking at a mountain landscape, and it was the lake. It was just so weird, the
Yeah.
angle that we were coming at.
Yeah.
It looked like it was in the sky.
Like, and it would never get. Like, it will never change either. We'd be like, every day we'd be like,
Yeah.
is that a mountain?
Is that a
no,
mountain?
that's a lake.
That's the lake.
Like, every time we would fall for it. Like, it's so weird. Anyways.
Oh, and then the guy at the bar, the old guy,
Oh, yeah, he just fell over.
fell right off the chair.
That was weird and
man.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that's something where I'm like, I know that we prayed for him, but that's something that I want to start stepping out more in, like when things like that happen, is like praying for people right there and not really caring what others think about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know for sure.
So when you were walking and you got into those opportunities, like how much of that, because you're not around an area that you know, you're not around people that you know, and I think it's harder to do it when people are around you that you know or that you grew up with.
Yeah, it's true.
How was it for you to not worry about being judged by other people, just to pray for other people or be with other people or do those type of things?
Yeah. Sorry, hold on.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Allergy season. It's really bad.
Tell me about it.
I woke up this morning, I thought I was gonna die, dude. I felt like my brain was pushing out of my skull. I'm like, this is it!
I drink my snot for breakfast every morning. Seriously, it's so runny. And clogged at the same time. I don't know. Sorry, what was the question?
What was
about
the question?
prayer?
Prayer, people judging you. What was it easier to like kind of get through, like not worrying about people judging you while you were out there praying for people or walking or?
Like I said, at first it was like super intimidating, but eventually it just becomes a lifestyle after you do it.
Yeah.
Like you just make it part of your routine every day.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I guess a lot of it was like also like, I don't know, you're never going to see this person again. So that was like kind of reaffirming like in that way. But also, I don't know, I think it was also a lot of just, you just keep doing it and then like you just don't care anymore. Like, what people think, and like it's just like, you know, like practice, like that's how you do anything in life. You learn that way, you know, and eventually you become more confident as you keep doing certain things. And not every time it goes well, but you just keep doing it, and you just learn to be confident either way, you know, like after you do it for so long.
Do you still stay in touch with anybody that you met on the walk?
To be honest, I haven't been really good at it. Every now and then I see things on like Facebook and stuff. I need to get better at it. Yeah. I've just been, a lot's happened over the years, and a lot that I'm processing still, but not really processing. So I don't know. It's just a lot of things, and I do need to reach out to them more, I feel like, but just to see what's going on. But like, I know like once I reach out to them, it'll be totally cool. Like, you know, because we've established such a cool relationship with so many people. So
that's so awesome.
But yeah, so
I want to get to kind of the end of the walk. When you were coming up on that home stretch, like going through California, like what was going through your mind then?
Let's see. It's about 4 years ago now. Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, our family flew out to see us walk the end. I mean, you heard on the recording. Yeah.
That moment there, and I remember when your sister took that video and put it on Facebook.
Did you watch it?
I did. I watched it. I watched it live when it happened. Funny. I still remember it because I was like, I don't know. It was just so, because we didn't know each other well back then. Didn't. Like, we knew of each other, but we didn't know each other well.
Yeah. I think I said hi to you a few times at church, and we had like some good conversations when we would talk, but then we didn't really hang out.
We didn't really start hanging out till like 3 years ago, and now it's. But when you were going through that moment, like that moment, taking the backpacks off, going to the ocean, what are you thinking? What's going through your mind? How are you like is it joy? Is it sadness because it's ending? You know, what's going on there?
It was like a mix of everything, I think. I think I was really happy to be done with it as well. Yeah. Because, you know, it was like 3 years, you know. But also it was just like, wow, like what an accomplishment. Like, I actually did this. Like, what the heck? Like, I walked 3,000, almost 4,000 miles across the country. Yeah. The whole freaking United States, you know.
The whole United States.
I don't know. It was just like a crazy moment, surreal. You know. Like,
it's just surreal.
Like, you're thinking like, man, this is it. Like, you know, like. But it was like, you just feel such satisfaction from it, you know? Like, so accomplishing something that huge and big, and I don't know, it was just an amazing moment, you know? Like, I'll never forget it, you know? Like, all the experiences that we went through, like, just flashed before my mind during that moment, and just like, you know, some people, like a guy came out to like see us during that time that we stayed with, like, you know, like it wasn't just my family. It was like few other people that like
Yeah.
actually like live within the area, you know, like that we stayed with. And
Yeah.
so just really cool times like that, you know, and we celebrated. There was like this diner on the dock, like you could go out on the dock and we ate there. And I don't know, it was just like a really cool moment. There was a lot of emotion and everything, but I don't know, happiness, sadness, not too much sadness though. It was more like joy, I feel like. But yeah, I don't know. It was just a mixed bag of all these feelings and things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Nice. So what do you feel like is what's the thing that you took most away from the trip in all?
That time helps me think. Let me think. Honestly, this is like the first time in a long time I've actually talked about this. You know that.
Yeah.
So thinking about all these things, there's just so many aspects, you know, with what's even happened these past few years with Trevor passing and all these emotions just in that. It's just like, what do you think about all this?
Yeah.
But I think the main thing I got from that trip is just like, sorry, this is really hard to think about.
No, go ahead, take your time.
5 hours later.
5 hours later. Bold.
My eyes. I don't know if you guys know SpongeBob, but
Sorry, SpongeBob.
funniest
reference.
movie ever.
We might have watched the SpongeBob movie while we were on the
Erie.
road.
It was amazing.
I'm neither going to
I do
confirm
not
or deny.
regret that at all. It was so funny. I don't know, just the freedom just to go out with no agenda,
Yeah.
not expect anything from God, not expect anything big or small, just going out
Yeah.
and just day by day living. Was just the best time of my life, just doing that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you don't think about, I don't know, all the petty things of life, you know? You're just like, you're fully relying on God in those moments. And where you're just like, you don't know where you're going to stay, or whatever. You just like, and then you see God provide in such amazing ways that you don't even question him, you know? I don't know. I think I haven't been good at that recently in my life, but I think that's always something that's stuck with me. Like, just living day by day, just seeing what opportunities come your way, like each and every day, like where you're at, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. One thing God really made super clear before we left was like, this trip isn't going to change you. It's the now that's going to change you. And so live out now what you're doing.
That. Yeah.
Like, then your heart will be ready for the trip, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it all matters what you're doing now. Like, what's your heart posture right now?
Yeah.
Are you living in like discontentment? Are you like worrying about what people think about you? Or are you like comparing yourself to others like all the time? Like, are you even satisfied with your life now? Because if you're going into something big, like, that's gonna follow you, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
Yeah.
Like, you leaving somewhere else isn't gonna change anything. It's you're gonna bring your stuff with you, the crap you deal with. Like, it's not gonna go anywhere just because of different change of environment or anything. So I think he really prepared us, which is really good. It's good that we did that, because then it just kind of flowed better when we stepped out in something big, you know, like the trip and stuff. And it was just kind of like what we're already living out, we were living out the trip. We just continued the trip. So I don't know. It's just that, and like knowing, like, there's so many times where I would doubt God, like just doubt him. Like, was he going to pull through? I know that was kind of like contradicting what I said, but like, you know, like, we're still human and stuff. And you sometimes doubt, you know?
Yeah.
But he would just always pull through, like, in some amazing or a weird way. Like,
Yeah.
like it was just, I don't know. You would just like we would run out of food, and then someone would pull up in their truck, and now we have all this food in their back, like in the middle of the desert, and like give us all this food, canned goods and stuff, and like lighters to keep us warm to make a fire. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like even in my doubts, like God was still moving and still working.
Yeah.
Like in what I was doing.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I was like, are you even gonna take care of me? Like am I gonna survive? Like
Yeah.
like I still like sin, like and was like, what if like someone just murders me out of nowhere, like on this trip, and like it never happened, and like I don't know, he would just remind us all the time that he loves us and he's taking care of us, and like there's nothing to worry about at all.
Well, that's got to shape you in such a different way. Just going, like, I couldn't even imagine doing it. It just like you tell me these stories, and you've been telling me these stories for years, and I'm just like, I can't physically, or I can't mentally get that picture in my head of what it would be like.
It's weird, honestly, thinking about it for me still. I'm like, did I actually do that? That's so weird.
Yeah.
But then that just reassures me that like anything I do, whether it's crazy or not, like God's going to be with me, you know? Even in times right now where I'm like one of the most depressed times of my life, being honest, like he's still with me. Like,
Yeah.
That's always something that stuck with me.
Yeah.
And and he continues to remind me even now, like, that he's with me like, each and every day, so I don't know whether it's through a smile through someone, or just someone just encouraging me, or like noticing me, or I don't know. It's different here. It's something I'm still learning now, because you come back for something big like that, it's kind of an adjustment, but
what was that like, the adjusting process after the trip was over?
It was,
or has it even ended?
I don't know if it's ended yet, honestly. If I'm honest, it's still a lot to think about. And like I said, with everything that happened to Trevor, there's just a lot of emotion that goes into that.
Yeah.
And then like the trip.
Yeah.
Still things I'm trying to process. But yeah, it definitely is a temptation just to be like not content with now. Because of experiencing something that big,
Yeah.
Sometimes. And you wonder,
it's almost like that go big or go home mentality.
Yeah. But in the moment when I was on the trip, I was thinking like, what's something bigger I could do on that trip? So like anywhere you go, like
it still
you're gonna feel that way,
Yeah.
It's just what you decide to do with those feelings, like, and being content. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing, like you always have a choice whether to be content or not.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm working through, is like contentment in the now, and
I
feel like he is doing that a lot recently in my life, and not always having something big to say, or like feeling the need to talk about like, oh, what my plans are to other people, or feeling like I need to prove myself to people. Just being okay with like, I don't know, I'm just living in the now, and that's it,
I think that's one of the biggest things that Jesus taught that we don't look at, and I always go back to Matthew 6 of, don't worry about your life,
exactly. That was a big one, actually, that you mentioned that we would always think about on the trip. So
but it rings so true. I was reading Titus the other day, and I look at the church and the state that it's in now, and I'm just like, he was saying like, don't get into quarrels, and like he names them, like, don't get into quarrels about genealogy, or if we should be doing this or doing that. Like if the Holy Spirit lives in you, you know truth, and it will refine you, and the Holy Spirit will teach you in all truth and knowledge. And I think that there's just such this grabbing for, I need to understand it so then I can fully believe it, but that's not what God wants. He just wants you to fully believe it without having to Now, I say that loosely. Like, I know I'm gonna get chastised out there for some things, but I mean, it's so true to me, and I've really been looking at my life like that, because just like you, and being honest, this has been one of the most depressing seasons of my life, and I have all of these people around me that are just like, oh, we should be doing this, or we should be doing this in the faith. And I have been finding more peace with my friends that are non-believers or that believe but don't go to church, and just sitting down at the end of the night and being like, do you just want to like pray, bro? Like, is like, what's going on? You
Yeah.
know, and they'll be receptive to it. They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, like actually I'm going through this.
Yeah.
Can you pray for me?
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to understand context or
Yeah.
if this person did this or if this person did this or
Yeah.
what the whole thing is. You
Yeah.
know, it's at the end of the day, it's like, well, why did Jesus chastise the Pharisees when he was like, you search the scriptures to find salvation, and I'm standing here, right here in front of you.
You have everything you
It's-
need right here
yeah.
now. You know,
Yeah.
why do you need to look so much
Yeah.
or try to strive?
Why
for
can't you
anything?
just be in the now? And
Yeah.
I've been trying to, like you said, like come to those moments of like, okay, here I am. What am I not what can I do? What am I doing now?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
is what I'm doing a direct representation of the faith that I believe in?
Yeah.
And honestly, lately it hasn't been.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, I get to the point where I'm like I haven't been worried about what God is thinking of me. I've been worried about what other people who believe in God are thinking of me. And that's not right.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of it, you know,
Mhm.
to that point. Almost like you're talking about like on the walk, when you're like, it becomes a lifestyle almost.
Yeah.
You know, you just go out and you just do it. Like the next podcast I'm gonna do, I'm having some old buddies come over that some I think, you know, might believe in the Lord, might not believe in the Lord, but we're gonna watch the UFC fights together, and I'm gonna do a podcast with it because I haven't seen them in forever, and I want to, you know, like I just want to
That's pretty cool.
spend time with
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And like to correlate that whole thing back to your trip, you know, it wasn't you that walked alone. You know, you walked with your best friend, and even the two of you walking together reached out for relationship with other people,
Mhm.
even if you knew you were never going to see them again.
Yeah.
Like you still wanted that human relationship
Yeah.
with people,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's what it's all about.
And that's just what happened, you know. It wasn't
Yeah.
anything forced. It wasn't anything we were looking for. We just came across people
And just did it.
strike up conversation.
Yeah.
They would strike most of the time, like I said, they would strike up conversation with us
Yeah.
because of like the weirdness
and everything else that was happening.
But yeah, so it's just so natural, you know.
Yeah.
Most natural it's ever been in my life, you know. So
Do you think, I know that we talked about this before, and I know that you're still into this. I don't know if you've given it any more thought, but do you think
Mhm.
of writing a book about it, or maybe doing like a video series or some things
yes,
that you've done?
yes. At first, it was Trevor's dream to write a book and everything,
Mm.
and I was like, I don't know why we would write it.
Yeah.
And he would always be like, we should write a book. We should write a book. And I kind of always felt like pressure to do it, like, because he was starting it before he passed, and like after he passed, people were like, "Are you still gonna write the book and stuff?" And like, it's like, I honestly didn't want to
Yeah.
at first, but I remember, because I don't know, I just felt like it was just something that people wanted me to do,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like something I actually really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so I just remember one night, like I was talking about it with my dad or something. It's like, I don't know if I'm gonna write the book. Like, I don't know what I should do. And he's like, you know, you don't have to write the book.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Wait a
I don't
minute.
know. I just was like, I don't have to write the book.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of like made me think twice about it. Like, oh wow, okay, I don't have to write
I don't
it.
have to write the book.
And then now I actually do
Want to
like
write
have more of a desire to write it. So
it. Nice.
I don't know how long it will take or like when I'm going to start. I've been thinking about it a lot recently, and I don't know how. Yeah, it might take a few years, but
Yeah.
I just realized that it'll be a process to write something this big. So
Yeah.
maybe a couple years down the road,
Down the road.
it'll be done, or I don't know, 10 years from now. I don't know.
Well, you know, I'm always there to help you with that
Yeah,
through it. So.
of course. So
Of course.
so this is really helping process things. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so in some sense, I do want to do it
Yeah.
sometime down the road.
That's so awesome.
Just don't really know when or when it's going to be done or whatever. So, but yeah.
So if anybody is out there that is like thinking of wanting to do something big for God,
Mm-hmm.
because this is, I mean, as much as, you know, you lived in the now, this is a pretty big deal. I mean, you walked across the entire country.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, what would you say to those people that are like preparing to do something big? And it doesn't even have to be walking across the country, but maybe even just going on a missions trip overseas or something
Mhm.
like that.
I would say,
Keep talking. I'll be right back.
like I was saying earlier, bye. Like I was saying earlier, I think it's really key to make sure you are content with the now before you would step out into something big like that. Because like I said, you're just going to carry things with you as you go. But yeah, I would say, you know, go for it. Like really go for it if you really feel like this is what God wants you to do, because, you know, he sometimes tells you to do crazy things and it's really scary and stuff. But yeah, it does say, like in Matthew 6, to seek first the kingdom of God and all these things will be added on to you.
Yeah.
You know? So like seek first his kingdom, not like the trip or anything first. Seek him first. And be content with where you're at now and take opportunity where you're at now, because that's going to go along with you wherever you go. And I would say that before you go on. And yeah, just go for it. You know, like I thought I wasn't going to make it. Like I thought, you know, like how am I going to do it with my leg? You know, like all these things. And then like I did it. Yeah. And, you know, I don't know if this will happen to everyone, but I have no back issues to this day. Yeah. Like everything's fine. You know, like he takes care of you, and all those worries and doubts you had, like you won't know until you actually do it. You know?
Absolutely.
And you could be missing out on so much, and you would letting your fear control you is not realistic unless you're actually taking action, you know? Yeah. Like, because you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. And if you fail, like, you know, like God's not going to leave you. He's still going to be with you, you know? Yeah. He's going to love you no matter what, you know? Yeah. It's just another learning process, you know? Absolutely. And I think people are just scared of that God's going to leave them or something if they do something crazy. Yeah. But that's just not true. And I don't know. You just don't know until you try. And I would just really suggest that to them. Yeah. Like, make sure your heart's ready and go for it, you know? Yeah. Before, That's
so awesome.
And just do it, you know? So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, my friend, I think we're going to wrap this up. I want to, before we do, I have one final question for you. Yeah. If there's anybody out there that's listening that didn't know God or didn't know Christ, what would you say to that person?
Good question. I would say, for me, the way I found out about the Lord is going to the source, which is the Bible. Like, just start reading it. Like, don't like just go off like what everyone's saying about it, you know, like the Bible's crazy, you know, like whatever, yada yada yada. You know, like just read it for yourself, like just do it. And don't have any like expectations about what you're going to read, you know, like just read it as it is. That's how I did it. And like I experienced like the God of creation, you know, through like he started talking to me. I saw what was in it. And I just decided like, I'm going to try this out and see if it's real. And he showed up, you know, he talked to me like one night and I was like, wow, like you're actually real, you know. I started praying for people, like it says, and for healing and everything, and it happened. I don't know. I just say, just go, just read it. Just read the Bible. Just let it speak to you as it is, as a book, like you're reading a book. And I just say, go for that, and like he'll reveal himself to you.
Let God do the rest.
You will, yeah. So that would be something I would tell them to do. Nice. And that he loves them, and that he is real. Yeah. You know? Yep. But yeah, find it for yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Don't just believe what people are telling you, you know?
Yeah.
Go to the source.
Experience it yourself. Mm-hmm. My friend, I love you. I thank you so much. You are one of the most genuine people I've ever met in my life, and I love our friendship. I can't wait to go on more trips and do things together. We have Boston and Erie in our pocket, so we'll figure that out. And Delaware with Troy.
Yeah, somewhere along the line.
Somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
But that's so cool. I'm so proud of you for coming on. And I absolutely mean that, because I know this was really hard for you to to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so awesome being able to tell this experience and this crazy story.
Yeah.
And
There's so much more I didn't even talk about.
Yeah.
But anyways.
We'll have to do part 2 sometime.
Part 2, yeah. Yeah, dude.
All right. Well, as always, guys, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube at Wallace Production, WALLESS Production. And I will have the link to the Church of Us on there because it's still a website, right? I believe
I
so.
have to revamp that.
Yeah.
I lost all the passwords and everything. I don't even know if it exists anymore.
I looked it up like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, it's still there?
Because I wanted to see it, yeah.
Yeah, I've been so bad.
I'll link it to that. I'll link that there. If you have any questions for Johnny, you can find him on Facebook. I won't put the link in, but it's Jonathan Stoltzfus.
Yes. And there's also, I wrote basically about every day on the trip, so you can look at posts and stuff on there. It should still be up there.
On
I need
Facebook?
to look back on that and make sure it's still running
Do you
good.
want me to link your Facebook?
On Facebook?
Yeah.
No, on the website.
Oh, on the website.
At
Okay.
churchofus.com.
Oh, so you wrote on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
gotcha,
was our
gotcha.
blog.
Oh,
So-
okay. So then, yeah, that would be on.
Is that what we were
That's what I was reading then when I was going through
Yeah,
there. Because
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, who wrote all this?
Yeah.
How do they know what's
Yeah,
going on? All right, guys. Well, again, Johnny, my friend, thank you so much. We appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, bye.